Okay, so we start.
It's a nice. So almost.
Yeah, okay, going back to the Okay, so I hope I'm audible. Can someone confirm from the online? When? Azim, Kavita, Shama, Mohitna, can someone confirm that I'm
Yes,
audible?
yes, sir. Audible and both are there. Visual and
Okay, okay, fine. So we will start with mental space psychology. Now, mental space psychology, what is it? How is it different from other psychological interventions or studies? इसमें चाहिए दोनों में तो अपन दोनों। So, mental space psychology, what it says is that space is the fundamental organizing principle of the mind. It says, I'm repeating that space is the fundamental organizing principle of mind. When we say that, what do we mean by that? Say, for example, we say we are claustrophobic. We say the space is very small. We say that space is required in my life. When we say that, at a very unconscious level or subconscious level, we talk about the importance of space in our life. If someone wants to feel relaxed and there is something, some stress is disturbing that person, if he moves up in an open space, maybe in a veranda and looks at the blue sky, they feel well, they feel good because of the space. Even for me, I keep on changing my study workstations or my study table. Whenever I'm stressed, I look, or maybe I change the space, right? There is a different perspective I have. Even you have seen the subject of clean space by David Grove, wherein a lot of perspectives are found by moving into different spaces. So how do we do that? We find out a circle, we go there. We find out a circle, we move there. Say, for example, here, we look at a perspective. Whatever thoughts come to our mind, when we move into a separate, different space or a circle, we get different thoughts. The thoughts change. It's being told that if you are very disturbed, right, you just change the room, probably the disturbance or the stress level will reduce. So space forms a very, very important part of our life. Of late means for the last 20 years, there have been work by Lucas Dirks and his team and the mental space psychology team, Society of Mental Psychology, which is otherwise known as SOMSP, with headquartered in Amsterdam. They are doing very, very good work and extensive research on mental space psychology. Now, there are amazing results that they're getting. Some of the interventions we have done in our classes. Say, for an example, if you have an issue, right, how can space help you in having a different perspective of that issue? So what do we do? I'm not repeating that experiment because that particular activity because we have done it. But those who want to do it now can do it. Those who want to do it now, think of an issue. Think of any issue that is probably your current disturbing you currently, or you want a resolution of that particular issue at this point of time. Think of it. Everyone, just think of that. Okay, you thought of that issue? Now, think of a car. Think of a car. With that issue in mind, imagine you are opening the door, the front door, the right front door of the car, and sitting on the right front seat and looking through the window screen at that particular issue. You get a perspective. Look at that issue. See yourself in the issue. See what you are doing, what you are wearing, whom you are speaking to. Okay, fine. And now I invite you to imagine, get up from the seat, open the right front door, move from behind the car, go to the left front, open the left front door, and sit on the left seat. Look at the same issue through the window screen, sitting on the left front seat. And now see what perspective you get, what you are doing, what you are wearing, whom you are speaking to, if there are any people to speak to. And just see what happens. Okay. Now you can open your eyes. Very simple activity. And just think what has happened. Is there any shift? Is there no shift? Have you got a different perspective? Would you see yourself sitting on the right front seat? Would you see yourself, imagine yourself to be sitting in the left front seat? What happens? You don't have to say. But this is a very simple activity that you do. Just related to space. Right? Another activity. Right? Just close your eyes. Think of someone, a person you know. And see, and just visualize, where do you, from your internal eye, where do you see that person around you? Just locate that position. And now, think of another person. And find, where do you visualize this person with your internal eye around you? Okay, now open your eyes. Did you see both the persons in the same space or in different space? Okay, so Joyita, before the starting of the session, she was talking about the circle, the closed circle, right? When she was speaking of how near or close that person is, which is a part of social panorama. So the first one that we did was pure mental space psychology. The second one that we did was relating to relations that we have with different people and the position or the space of the persons. And why persons? We'll do another activity wherein we have not a person, but something else, another object, and see how they're related to us, right? So any person, they are positioned mentally in some space around us, and that is not by coincidence, right? It happens. If you ask you to see that same person again, chances are that you will see that same person again in the same position, in that same direction. Now, what happens if we change the directions and positions of the people? Our relationship also changes. And there have been a good amount of work as far as binge eating, obesity is concerned. Binge eating and obesity is concerned. So let's think of now. Once again, let's do another activity before we move into some intricacies, right? So close your eyes and think of your favorite food, the food which you most like, which if given to you, you will finish off that immediately. Just think of it. Great. And now think of a food which you don't like at all. And see its location around you. What probably has changed, you can open your eyes now. What probably has changed between the first and the second is the distance, the direction, of course, the proximity, and the level of that object in relation to your eye level. So, what is happening around all this relationship with obesity, with issues that people are having, even a placebo effect? When you think of a placebo effect, that okay, if he comes to my house, this thing happens. If I see two birds, some minus, it's very good for me. If I see one bird, it's bad. Now, if you close your eyes once again and want to see one minus and two minus, you will see them in different positions. Probably the distance, direction, the level of these objects in relation to your eye level will let you know what you think about it. So, I repeat, according to mental space psychology, space is one of the underlying principles of the organizations of how the mind organizes things. And it changes, the way your mind or you look at things will change. Just a simple activity once again to find out which is your dominant eye. Now, you will ask me, can there be a dominant eye? Yes, there can be. There can be a dominant eye. A very simple exercise. Think of or select an object in front of you, any object in front of you, or you can put your finger, which is in front, in line with your nose, the tip of your nose, and just point at any point, right? Okay, look at the tip of the finger. Now close your right eye. See whether the finger has moved in relation to your center of the nose. Open both the eyes. Now close your left eye. Right? You will see for one finger, for one eyes, probably the distance that the finger moves is less, and the distance that the other finger moves, the finger moves when you close, keep that eye open, is different. So for me, when I keep my fingers straight, I close my right eye. So I do it again. The finger moves considerably. It's moved this side. Now I open my eyes, close my left eye, my finger, it stays in the same position. So probably the right eye, the way I see things, is the right eye is the dominant eye. And chances are that when I close my eyes and think of something, the internal dominant eye would be my right eye.
Same.
Right? Right? Yeah. So now what we would discuss in the mental space. Yes, Lakshmi.
So if the finger moves, then it is not is it a dominant eye, or if it doesn't
So
move?
for me, when I close my left eye, the finger stays where it was.
Correct.
Now, so when I open the eyes, when I keep it open, so right side is open,
Yeah.
and the finger does not move or
Correct.
moves less, that's my external dominant eye. And chances are that your internal dominant I will also be that. Now, how do we look at people? How do we look at things? Can shift, or depends on the dominant I. Which one is my dominant I? Now, learning this in the mental space psychologies for the 2 day session that we will be having will be primarily helping people to organize things or to work at things in very, very less time. Very, very less time. So, there are instances wherein many practitioners, where there have been relationship issues with the employee and the employer, the employee saw the employer, the supervisor, to be far away, right? Whenever that employer was brought in front, near to that person, there was resistance. Where is the resistance coming from? Why is the resistance coming? The resistance is coming because, as far as the organizing principle, the space is changing and my thoughts about them also are changing. So space plays a very, very important role in how we perceive, process, and interpret things around us. Even this can be worked with money. This can be worked with our spending of money, earning of money, how we relate ourselves to money. Right? Okay. Let's do another exercise, a very, very fast activity. Think of a person with whom you have very bad relation or relations which are not very good, not very healthy. Right? Yeah. There was Radha Vallavi deliver. How many Radhas and how many Vallavis we know? Kachori has been delivered. See, if you come to Kolkata and attend the monthly meetings, this is what you will get. Sponsored by the organization. Oh, jalebi also. Rashmi, jalebi also. So we are showing off here with kachori and jalebi. You might be getting some masala dosa and idli or upma, uttapam.
Medu vada and bonda and all,
Honda, huh? See, you can show off actually. See the Honda and the And I'm sure immediately Tanzim, Tawida, and Imama will bring some biryani. Kebabs. And Meghna can get some peplas. Peplas, opras. Right? Okay, fine. Dr. Abdul, what will you get? Rice and dal, bhat and dal. Aloo bhaja. Aloo bhaja. That is incomplete. Yes. I can tell you. Okay, fine. Now let's do this exercise. Think of any person. Okay, if it's not a person, you can also think of an issue which is disturbing you, a person whom you don't like, or maybe some work in the office which you are not liking, right? Think of it. Close your eyes. Think of that issue, that person, that work, that food, whatever it is. And when you think of the objects include persons whom you don't like, keep on looking at that person or that object and imagine the sun rises from just behind that person. The sun rises just from a position which is behind that person. And while it rises, the sun fixes on a spot and the sunlight falls on that person or that object or that work or that issue. And as sunlight falls, just see what happens. Let that light be there. And the sun set now with that light being fixed on that person, object, issue, or the food. And now, with that light on that particular object, bring it a little closer to you, a little closer, maybe towards the center, in front of your eyes, and see how you feel. Is there a resistance, or it's okay to bring that person, object, work, issue near you? Wherever you are now, with that light on that entire object, that light being enlightened or lighted up, see how you feel. If you feel better, it's fine. Or move it to a position where you feel better. Or if you're not feeling better, you can put it back in the same place where it was. Feel the feelings in your body, and you can open your eyes whenever you want. Was there any shift? Was it same? Was it different? Okay, let's try it out. Close your eyes once again and think of that same thing which you worked on. And see how you feel when the location is being changed. And think of that person with that light on. And now, if the position has changed, just take a duster or a piece of cloth and wipe that position where that person was earlier there. So the remnants, if any, of that person is now removed. And see whether now you can think of that person, visualize that person with the lights there, or the light has gone. Then you can open your eyes and share your experience with me.
Second time I couldn't see that. I was totally blurry, nothing was there.
Nothing was there.
When it started, imagine I was unable to imagine nothing was
The second day. Okay. And how is the feeling about?
there.
Okay. So for some it can be blurry, some it can go to the same position. It's okay. We can do interventions for that to change. Right? You want to say something?
Oh, but for me, that person was not, I did not have a very strong
Strong
negative, yes, negative feeling.
But with that light on, was that light still on?
Yes,
Sunlight?
the light is still on, and the previous position did not exist. So,
Did not exist.
yes.
Okay. Fine. So the interventions just took 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and there was a shift in some thoughts. I will not say positive or negative, right? However, there are thoughts. So change of positions, use of concepts, use of some creativity, which Kishan talked about, in while working on it will have an impact. Now, saying that, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere, people with right hemisphere, dominant right hemisphere or more dominant left hemisphere, will see different results when we talk about them looking at a position. Say, for example, when I'm sitting on the right side and the left side, things might be different. And we can understand that more when we attend the sessions. So this is how space plays a very important role. Now, when you do any activities, say for example, swish. Now, what do you do in a swish? In an NLP process, right? You imagine yourself to be a resourceful person when that habit is not there, and you imagine yourself to be an unresourceful person when the habits are there, right? Try it out with the same. What we will do is we will see a switch in as far as MSP is concerned, mental space psychology is concerned, with the habits and without the habits, our own habits, and whether they're sustainable or not. So what I am hinting at is MSP is also a tool which you, a coach, a counselor, even a layman, even a person who does not want you to get into coaching or counseling can use to be more resourceful or to have a better lifestyle. So Jacqueline is again, a very senior director of the International Society of Mental Space Psychology. She is working on obesity only through MSP, on food habits through MSP, right? And it's working very, very well. So that is one. Okay. The last activity, and I think it is one of the a very, very weird activity that I would be asking all of you to do. And I would request all of you to do it, right? So that might be of great, great help to you. And you will understand another technique. If it does not work on you, you will understand another technique and maybe try it later on. Okay? So, a very weird, but very effective. It has been effective for me, and I'm sure it will be effective for you. So first, a little workout before we get into the activity. Put your hands behind your head, lock the fingers, right? Lock the fingers like this, or those, yes, either way, let us see it. Okay, let me, I think this is the one where it's easier to understand, right? Okay, okay. Now, with both the hands, using both the hands, the elbows, right? Write your name in the air. Write your name. So my name is Partho, so I write P-A-R-T-H-A. Okay? On the other side, not like that, Joita, like this. Opposite sides. P-A-R-T-H-A. Okay? Got it? Okay. Now, think of a feeling that might. So we all have mood swings, right? We have hundreds of mood swings every day, right? So maybe Orno, he gets a lot of good students in his classroom, he feels good. And suddenly so he feels very good. The next moment someone says, sir, I have got a meeting today outside. I'm going. Immediately the mood changes. There are mood swings. Maybe a mood that you have, an emotion that you have, a negative emotion or an unresourceful emotion disturbs you a lot. It can be anger, right? Thinking of someone. It can be anger because the maid has not come. It can be an anger because someone has promised you and not kept his promise, right? Think of such issues, any issues, a negative emotion which you have frequently, and think of a recurring emotion, negative, unresourceful emotion that can happen to you. Say, for example, you look at a person, you don't feel good, or the weather, not feeling good. So think of that emotion. Again, keep your hands like this, and now write that emotion, whatever it is, anger or particular thing, thinking of that particular incident, write that, say for anger, you write ANGER, right? Thinking of that issue. And be flexible with your hands. Don't be very rigid. Yeah. That's right. Same time, right? Do that. Okay, now what you do is move to a different space. Move to a different space. And now do the same thing. Again, think of that issue and write that emotion. Okay. Now, use bigger alphabets to write that emotion. Use bigger alphabets. So if the A was this much, write it this much big, right? Bigger, and see what happens. Okay. And just relax. Now think of that issue, think of that emotion, and see what has happened. And just you can take your seats. One Okay. Now think of that issue, think of that particular emotion, and see what has changed. Even if it's not changed, see what has happened. Right? What we did just now was using space. You made it very apparent of that emotion, right? In different, fonts or sizes, and probably there has been a change in the way you look at it. So just be where you are. I'll tell you the reason. So just be where you are. Think of that issue, and just feel how it is impacting you now, or what is the extent or the level of that emotion now. Increase. Your anxiety increased? Irritation. My irritation decreased. It became milder. Right. সেটারই খুব বেশি আর মানে আগেটা বলা হচ্ছে খুবই কম লাইট
I could not think about it because my entire concentration was on that.
That's all. Fine. Then probably another time you will be doing. Fine.
So it's very normal.
Very normal. Okay. Fair. Okay. Fine. Okay. So it means if it has increased or decreased, whatever it is, there is an impact. There is an impact. Right?
Why it is increasing for someone and decreasing?
It has different mental, the way it is being placed in their mind might be different. Right? So what can be done in those cases is just change the position of where they were.
Maybe some.
Look at that issue, write the same thing with different fonts, and we can come back. Right? Lakshmi, any thoughts? Lakshmi, Imama, Toila?
See, for me, the one thought which came was, I mean, in fact, I worked for impatience. For one particular this. Second is,
Can I suggest you something? Don't hold your head and say that. Yeah.
no, I'm just trying to collect my thoughts on the second thought. That is why I just kept my this.
Say that, right.
Yeah. So, and the second thought was, we do submodality shift and belief imprint before we do in
So,
NLP.
tell me what happened to that field? Did it increase, decrease, same, whatever? We're not getting to the reasons now.
I think I'm in the same this because I was not associated with that feeling. I was just thinking of that.
Okay, don't think of association, disassociation, right? So that is
same thing. I mean,
fine, great.
some energy. Some energy flow is happening here. That's the only thing.
That's all. Fine.
That's it.
Imama.
I was thinking of sleep and I'm feeling sleepy now.
So you're feeling sleepy now?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So what we did over here was, Arnav has a question, so let me answer it. You had a question, and then we can move ahead. Yes.
While doing this activity, why we have to hold our hand in this way?
Question. So the idea is that, okay, So when we do this, is that when we lock our fingers, it becomes easier for us to write.
So we can write it this way.
Yeah. So both the fingers on the other side, the right and left brain hemisphere, they both start working. Both start working. So you would have seen when writing, one of the hands will go to some extent. That's because of some advantages. So, but when we write bigger fonts, right, we have to put more efforts. So the the work of the brain is different. So both the right brain and left brain starts working.
Even like this, we do it several times in life, but this is something unique, na? So brain will take it in a different way.
Yeah. So the way when you start thinking, so this is just a way of working. Now, if you see, now when we use our body and the space in and they combine together, there is a different effect. You can also write it with your nose, right? But the nose, there's one. So you can just do it like this. It is more easier. Now, when you do like this, that and when you hold your hand like this, it will be more, the coordination would be a little more better. Right? So this is the activity that you do. Yes, Sansi.
Both elbows are difficult, but his nose is difficult.
No. Knows what?
Nose is easier. The both elbows. How come I write A and it's difficult for upper body?
Okay, fine. Fine. Good. Right? Okay, fine. So one of the aspects of mental space psychology that we will also be covering, and you have seen different ways in social panorama. So social panorama is a part of mental space psychology. So we will be covering both mental space psychology and social panorama sometimes in October or November. We will be having a session which will be for practitioners and then for consultants. We will be having it different. So mental space is another way of where you can you can not probably, you can work on your emotions, feelings, or the way you live at life. This is another tool that you will be having. So very simply, right? Very simply. Even with when I use that light on you, that on that person, the light when it is falling on that person, it has an impact. The word itself, what do you start thinking? That person whom I don't like, light is falling. Now, when the word light is being used, it has a different connotation in our mind. That anything when it's lighted up or enlightened, there is a better way of looking at things. So when we do not like someone, now let me get into the neurological levels and explain to you this. When if you get into those who have done NLP, the practitioners, neurological levels, Megha, I also explained to you, so if you can refer to it, even when you talk of neurological levels, when you are not liking that person, it's for a behavior of that person or something which is not in unison with you, not in synergy with you. However, when that light is being put on that person, the entire person gets illuminated. So probably now, instead, you isolate that behavior and now look at the person as a whole. So it's more of that identity of the person which is being lighted up. And you will see a very, very easy way that I will suggest to you. If at any point of time you are feeling emotionally down, or maybe you want to feel better, imagine a sun rising just behind you or just inside of you, front of you, and illuminating it. You will see an immediate difference or a change in the thoughts or in the thinking process or that emotion, how you're feeling. That's why white light is being used in many traditional therapies, spiritual therapies like Reiki. pranic healing. A lot of white light is being used. We say that fill yourself with white light. Even during meditation, you would see that white light is entering through your head. It fills your body. You never say it's black light filling. It's white light or the light which illuminates. So illumination itself in any therapeutic conditions can uplift the mind state or the emotional state. So, Lakshmi, you were pointing towards your neck. You were pointing towards the neck. And last time also you pointed, yeah. So that's the brainstem. Is it the intersection of
Brainstem,
the
brainstem, brainstem.
brainstem? So in the brainstem, right, from the medulla oblongata, you have the, so again, this is a different topic, right, which I will cover on 12th night, evening, 12th evening. When I talk about gut, we will be talking about the vagus nerve, right? So calming the vagus nerve is also possible through using space in particular. So while I was working on the vagus nerve, gut, and I was wanting to understand how space can be used, right? So what I did was a very weird thing. I imagined the entire vagus nerve in front of me, in my eyes, right? And I filled it up. I made it illuminate. I illuminated it. There was immediately a lot of calmness inside. Now, am I physically taking it out? I'm not physically taking it out. I'm working on it specially. So as I said, that I do not know, there are many doctors, but I think modern medicine, which was treating human beings more as machines, are now starting to realize that there is another part of the human beings that they are treating. It's not only the pain that has to be relieved, the symptoms, but the cause of the pains need to be worked at. Mostly they are psychological issues which are leading to it. Right? So that's from my end. However, saying that, we can end it with another activity, but before that, Joyit, I guess.
So what would be the opposite to it? Like for calming down, you have worked on your vagus. And if you have to energize, because maybe at times we get very drained out and we find, drowsy.
You are talking of through mental space or generally? Generally, yoga nidra.
Okay.
Generally, yoga nidra. Or generally, rotation of awareness.
I think Partha, she wants to how to energize.
Yes, how to energize. So very simple. I'm coming to mental space also. We can do it. Think yourself, outside yourself, illuminate yourself, put a lot of ray and see what happens. Bring yourself near. So when you are drained, probably you will see at a 3 o'clock or maybe 5 o'clock. Bring it to 12 o'clock. Illuminate yourself. Bring it near. Make yourself bigger. See what happens. If you're feeling, you can try it now.
This is through mental space.
So mental space. Similarly, yoga nidra. Similarly, for energizing, you can just use rotation of awareness. Close your eyes. Think of your right finger, left finger. Just rotate your awareness. Right? The motor homunculus, the brain mapping which is there, that will also be triggered. And you will see a rejuvenation in yourself. In fact, in the yoga nidra, rotation of awareness is because of that. There are different stages of yoga nidra. One of them is rotation of awareness. But rotation of awareness, if you isolate it and use it in isolation, there would be some rejuvenation which you will be having. I never knew this subject. Many years back, I can still remember, just came to my mind. Whenever I used to feel very tired, I used to do mental calculations, some difficult calculations, 340 into 45. And I did not get the answer, but somewhere I found that the energy came back with me. I did not find myself, drowsy or sleepy. Now I can probably understand that because the prefrontal cortex, the executive center is getting worked on. Probably I used to feel energetic. Most of the time I did it, 340 into 45. I still remember this number because this is the number I used to use sometimes. Or 420 into some other numbers. Try and do it now. Probably there will be enough different. In fact, the alphabet code exercise in new code, that's a very, very good way of energizing. So we say when people are hyper, we use breathing. So breathing. So if you just focus, if you're very anxious, try to breathe, inhale and exhale, reduce it to 5 to 6 times in a minute. And you will immediately feel that calmness. So anxiety, what happens? Just breath control. 5, bring it down to 5 to 6, you'll feel that calmness. Yes, Imam, sorry.
No, I was saying, as you were sharing that many years back, when you used to be like that, you used to do some mathematical calculation. Unknowingly, I also do the same when I'm very at a not a very good state, or the emotions are not being able to handled by me. I do math,
Yeah,
and that gives me ease.
correct. So probably the autonomic nervous system, understanding the ANS will be
Even
very.
even sometimes I get zoned out. Say somebody is talking and I get zoned out. But the moment they tell a number, I immediately come back. Okay, now what's happening?
Correct. So these are techniques which we all know. I think these are coming back. So I will stop here. Right?
Rather, here's some easier task, rather math or something.
Sorry?
There's some exercise to energize me. Like I don't like
Hold on.
math.
Hold on. You don't like maths, then what will you do?
So, share some easy task.
You see. Very good.
What I can do without doing maths or something calculation.
I know what it is, Partha, for her.
Please, Lakshmi.
So,
I'll wait for Partha to answer.
sorry?
I am telling Tanzim I know what will be her break state activity, but I'll wait for Partha's answer, I told her. Because for Imama, it's Max. Tanzim has phobia of Max. So she's asking, Dada, please give me any other
Are you
activity other
suggesting
than
structure of 8 for her?
that is one, but I felt she's extremely great at drawing.
Yeah, yes.
Thank
Do
you.
what you love to do, and you will see a change in your moods, right? Do what you love to do. Too much understanding, so drama triangle is something which drains your mind, right? The moment you change your perspective into a Venus triangle, there will be energy. So energy can be brought in different ways. Alphabet code is a very, very good way of energizing yourself. Illuminate yourself in space, make yourself bigger, move to the right, again to the left, maybe to the front, work on it and see what happens. Right? So there is any placebo effect which is there. If you see the belief system work, if then so, the normalized belief structure, everything can be related to each and everything. Everything can be related to everything. So when I talk about the illumination, what illuminates is the whole thing. Probably it's the identity. Right? Even in IMT, integral eye movement therapy, when we work on the identity, so that's great. You reimprint your identity in IMT, right? The pronouns that we see. The word. So that's there. So, anyways, so we talked of quantum creativity, we talked of mental space psychology today. I think these are two new work which Iqcbs is introducing. And I would like you, and they are helpful. They are helpful, right? They are helpful in different ways. Also, as in the family setup, there are many issues which are brought in from childhood, right? Which we carry from childhood. We attribute some of our negative or positive emotions to our genes, to our ancestors. A lot of work can be done as far as MSP and social panorama is concerned. Right. So that's about from me as far as MSP is concerned. I think that's what. So once again, I repeat, NLP practitioners, those who are practitioners who want to repeat, in Kolkata, it's in classroom at Park Prime Hotel. I would not really ask the Kolkata ones to do online, right? It's offline and attend them offline. For those who are outside Kolkata, you're most welcome to join online once again. And there might be something new for you in the NLP practitioners. And then we have the masters following the NLP and other programs. Yes. So anyone has anything to share, anything to ask, anything to maybe you can cover something, those who have done masters or no, Krishanu, Rolita, or those who have done practitioners, you can might wish to contribute something, or Lakshmi, you can contribute, or those who are online can contribute.
No, I was only curious about one thing, that the mental space psychology, which you did eliminating and space, isn't it more or less like a submodality shift which we do?
It is. MSP and social panorama is work on submodalities, but much more advanced. It's an advanced more way of doing submodalities. So the way, so it's not only Lucas Dirks. There are Connie Ray Andreas is doing a lot of work in code transformation. So part of code transformation is here, where using of space and mentioning yourself, I, that works in a different way. So there are different ways now where experiment. So creativity again. So when Connie Ray, so Steve Andreas, Connie Ray Andreas, Andrew, Lucas, there are a lot of work which is going on in mental space psychology domain. The M-bit part, multiple brain integrative techniques, wherein the chakras are also being played, right? So you work on the gut, heart, and this. And then there is an issue, you find out the answers from them, and they respond. Which if you see in subconscious, right? A lot of subconscious, people who work on subconscious, the subconscious does give you response to you. And you might be seeing that your fingers are flickering sometimes because of nerve issues or something. The subconscious might be at work, they might be working on something, and probably you get. Right. So fine, if there is nothing, then we'll close it. And mental space. Okay. Yeah. Activities, we can do a lot of activities. We can play around being Let's see how it is. Right. But yes. So any questions, anything, maybe we can have question and answers. That's a good way of spending. But I think there was some understanding about new topics which is there. Okay, let me now talk about how do we understand the person. So not only from the neurological levels, but from a perceptual position. I think perceptual positions are something which are done in masters, but yes, we can work on practitioners also. I think we can work on. So perceptual positions are positions, the perspectives from different positions, right? It is excellent as far as working on emotional emotional packages, burdens, attachments, whatever, and also working on resolving conflicts, right? While there are modern ways of resolving conflicts, I think perceptual positions the NLP way can really work wonders as far as resolving conflicts are concerned. And it can be used at any point of time by yourself without the help of anyone. So how do you do that? So there is a first person, me, there is another person, I take another space, which is someone else with whom I'm having the conflict, and I take a different side and a different way altogether, different position altogether, where I can see both these persons, both these people, and observe, working as an observer as a meta position. Meta means observer position. Meta means away from that, taking a disassociated view of that. Right? So association and disassociation is something which we learn how to do it, and I think disassociation is a very good way. So what do we do in perceptual positions? In perceptual positions, we look at that perspective from our end. There is one change which is there. We verbalize it. So the thoughts that I have, we verbalize it towards another person. What I'm thinking at that point of time regarding that situation with that other person. Then I get out of my position, shake up myself, get into the second position, right? Where I'm that second person with whom I'm having that conflict. I become that person. Sorry. I become that person. I actually become that person and then talk to the first person, which was me. So now I have become X talking to Partho. From the perspective that Partho has. So what I'm doing? I'm working now, acting as that person with the perception of Partho, that Partho has a perception about me, X. Right? And the subconscious of Partho now is X, and they speak to Partho about their position. And this can go on for some time. And then we have the person on the third, the meta position, the observer. This meta now talks about the conflict to both Partho and X. Right? This is a great, and you will find this can happen in group also. This can happen in groups also. I ask, okay, hold on. You are having an issue with Abhi. Okay, tell me now. What do you talk to Abhi now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, okay, be Abhi now. Move, come back, be Abhi now, and tell out of what you think. That is what is thing. Excellent. Can you come out? Now look at that chair of yours and that place where you thought Abhi is,
Okay.
and tell them both what is that you want to share with them. What happens is you verbalize. When verbalization happens, it's a catharsis also of some type. When the catharsis happens, you feel better. And you get a perspective, which was there in the subconscious, now it has come into the conscious. In mental space psychology also, the brain is 3D, the autonomic nervous system is 3D. What you are thinking is in the subconscious. Now, when you verbalize it, right, what you are doing is so when I'm thinking of something, it's 3D. When I'm explaining, it's 1D. So there is a continuous interface between 3D and 1D which is happening. And the continuous, of course, it is some modalities, but some modalities in an advanced way, put in a different perspective. Right? So perceptual positions, if you speak, also using space. Perceptual positions is also using space. And also we say, even in anchoring, we say that, okay, step in, move out, go away. In alphabet, so when we are practicing something, I make a mistake. So once I make a mistake, that space becomes a space where I have made that mistake. So people say, step out, check your body, take a deep breath, move into it. What happens? The space becomes different. I become different in that space. How space is used? Amazing examples I can give you. So if there is a role play going on, so 2 chairs are kept. So I say, this is the police, this is the thief. So first role play over, Now I tell Ornov, you are the police, Krishanu, you are the thief. Ornov will come and sit on the police chair. Krishanu will take the thief's chair. Nothing has been mentioned, only one role play has happened, and we earmark the space for a particular group. How do we do that? It happens in the mind. Space plays a very, very important role. And now, once bringing in mental space psychology into your therapeutic interventions and your daily life, you can imagine what changes you can bring. Right? And most happy to say that, SOMSP, Society of Mental Space Psychology, the researches that are going on are absolutely amazing. I think it made some sense.
Absolutely.
Right?
And not only that, I just add to this, when you said about that peak performance exercise, about that alphabet exercise, I think all of us have subconsciously again thought about it. But when we make a mistake on the first chart, probably on the left hand and right hand, when we make a mistake, immediately there is a shift in the space. So if we don't do it, it might very light. We might just move a step
And
then we come back. And then
Correct.
we don't even know what the science is behind it, but we do it because it's part of our program.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And this police and thief, it is something that I have done it quite a few times. What you are saying now, we have done it like a banker and a customer. Or maybe.
So the always in the banker system.
Yes.
And I have seen they're going so someone, say for example, I asked Imama, banker and customer. So she's the customer. She goes to the banker side, oh, this is the banker.
Yes.
She'll come back to the customers.
Somebody can also prompt saying that come around the banker seat. So go there.
What happens is, at a very subconscious level, anchoring is happening. So what is anchoring? Anchoring is when you actually tie yourself up with a particular situation or an action which has happened in the past, recurring. Now to break that anchoring, you have to disassociate and then move. So these are scientific. These are very scientific. Okay. Good. Yes, Tanzil.
Dada, when I did psychodrama, there was a task.
No, you're moving in different directions and speaking. So your voice is also moving into different directions. So can you just maintain that state and talk?
Space. There's physical space audiology.
No. So, the director, my trainer, used to play like make someone a ferret and other person is a hammer. And when I was a ferret and the other person is playing a hammer role, and he's just hammering me, and I'm just going down in earth, and I'm so vulnerable. And then the task is altered, like I'm playing the role of hammer, and that person will became the ferret. And then when trainer said, "Ki, just hit him," and I was just hitting him and making him straight, and then hit again, and then I'm trying to hold him, and that's the role I found. Uh, when I was playing role of a parent, I I felt anger for that person, but when I get the opportunity to hit him, I couldn't. No. I was just doing that task, but I was afraid. I was sorry. I don't want to hit him. I had to go so.
So you see, even when you are playing a role, right, there is something happening within you. Right? So I was speaking to someone today and I was saying that, food has a very, very important impact on our mentality, on our subconscious or conscious, whatever it is, right? And the least that we take care of, we say that we have a stomach upset or a stomach pain, but we do the least for our stomach, right? And whenever you are doing this role plays, the first impact apart from the brain is happening in your gut. 95% of the serotonin is produced in the gut. 25% is produced in the brain. Having dark chocolates or these role plays, the resistance also comes from the gut and from the brain apart from it. Right? So these are, while we are doing drama, we become a part of it. Very, very, at a very, very unconscious level or subconscious level, we do it. Every day, if we do the role, we might become that's a role, that's not the person. But that role might overtake that person, get inside the person, and we can become them. So apart from the body clock, I think we have a space clock also. One day it will come that, we preserve some space in our body and that works like a clock. So the circadian rhythm, there might be something which is called a space rhythm also. I don't know. But attending the webinars and sessions, reading the various manuals which are being developed, I can say that very soon, even the medical science, they have already started doing that. They will start looking at a holistic approach, right? Where they would be taking the help of the mental well-being professionals in their treatments. I think that day is coming. In fact, in Kolkata, there was a seminar, doctor's seminar, which happened, I think, 2 weeks back, where they talked about this, the holistic approach. Man is not a machine. That, there is a body ache and I take Omniflam or a medicine and we go, okay. The cause can be something different, which needs a look at for the treatment. Right? But good, I think that there was someone asked the question. And okay, so our NLP practitioners practice will be before 23rd. I will share the dates, wherein again our master practitioners will be in action, right? And we will take it forward. So one thing which is very imminent, which also Krishanu confirmed that there will be follow-up classes. I think this is something which you should take advantage of. While 90% in many places, I was speaking to someone, 90% of the practitioners, after they do the practitioners, after a month or two, they forget, right? I think this will really help. And I would request all of you to put in a word in the social media also, praising this, because maybe sometimes when we get something, right, we actually miss its usefulness till the time it's absent. But if a word from all of you comes to that effect, how Iqcbs at least, we do the practice sessions in every subject, in metaphors of movement, in practitioners, in mental in quantum creativity, in masters, we do it. And that without any extra charges. I think that's very, very important. Right? Very, very important. Even this monthly meet, this adds a lot of value. So I would request all of you to please include this when you speak to others. This is the small, I think, token of appreciation that we request you to add. And take care of yourselves and we meet soon. Lakshmi, today 5 p.m., right?
Yes, yes.
Fine. We'll catch you. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye. Thanks, Molly. Thanks, Meghna. Thanks, Abdul Bhai. Tawhida, why are you hiding? Can we see you, Tawhida? Tawhida Hussain?
I gave a stick to her. She was
Tawhida sleeping. SLEEPING. Phonetic ambiguity.
She was. I woke her
Molly,
up actually.
bye. Meghna, bye. Abdul Bhai, bye. Bye.
Bye, Dada.
Tanzim, don't be a hammer anymore. Don't be a hammer.
Oh, no.
Pere.
Dada, but
Bye.
I I melt that person with the sunlight. I am sorry.
You melt that, eh?
Very interesting.
Yes, when you said the sun, keep the sun in that person's head.
Oh, there
And
was too much heat. That means you
yes,
brought
I
there.
increased too much heat and I melt that person like
Why
ice.
not? Let him drain away now. Let him drain.
Sorry, Dada.
Okay.
I'm
Bye.
very cruel.
Bye.
Cruel.
Say sorry to him,
Okay,
not to me.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.